Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little bit different, but honestly, it is absolutely fascinating. We are going to rigorously analyze a seemingly simple nursery rhyme script to reveal the brilliant structural mechanics behind viral children's content. Now, on the surface, a song for toddlers might just look like a handful of repetitive words. But when you look closer, when you really break down the text, you find a highly calculated piece of digital engineering designed to capture and hold human attention at its earliest stages of development. Today, we are tearing down the baby Dino dance. Here is exactly how we're going to break this down. First, the anatomy of the rhyme. Second, we'll meet the Dino family. Third, we'll look at inspiring physical engagement. And finally, the YouTube Kids Playbook. All right, jumping right into section 1, anatomy of the rhyme, deconstructing the earworm. Right out of the gate, our source material explicitly calls this a baby shark-style script. Now, that phrase isn't just some casual description, right? That is a massive clue. It tells us exactly what kind of machine we're operating here. A baby shark-style framework means we are looking at a highly repetitive, structurally simple rhyme, ruthlessly designed to captivate young children. It is literally a blueprint for viral retention. Just look at this single line. Baby Dino do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. This is the exact repetitive musical hook that serves as the foundation of the entire rhyme. It's 6 distinct rhythmic syllables just tacked onto a 2-word subject. Notice how incredibly uncomplicated that is? There are no complex narratives to follow, no difficult vocabulary words to decode. It is pure, unadulterated auditory rhythm. So what's the point? Well, this repetition isn't just lazy writing or filler. It is a highly calculated psychological tool. The goal here is establishing a powerful, repetitive earworm for digital retention. You see, in the landscape of digital media, especially for kids, predictability is super comforting. When a child knows exactly what sound is coming next, they feel safe. They feel a sense of mastery, and that encourages them to keep watching, and most importantly, keep listening completely on a loop. And the strict mathematical formula of verses 1 through 4 proves this perfectly. Think about it. The first 3 lines of every single verse are identical, just the character's name followed by that do-do-do hook. Only the 4th line actually introduces a unique action. That means rhythm overwhelmingly dominates the narrative by a whopping margin of 75% to 25%. The script prioritizes that hypnotic, rhythmic filler over the story, ensuring the earworm is totally cemented long before the child even has to process any actual narrative information. Moving right along to section 2, meet the Dino family, character hierarchy. Building on that strict mathematical formula we just uncovered, it's fascinating to see how the script maps out the escalation of physical movement as we progress through the family tree. Characters are introduced in a very specific, relatable order for a toddler. It starts with a child's proxy, Baby Dino, who simply goes roar, roar, roar. Then Mama Dino steps in, and her action becomes a bit more interactive. Dance with me. Next up is Papa Dino with a much larger physical movement. He stomps his feet. And finally, the 4th verse brings in the entire Dino family with one massive, collective command: everybody dance and sing. What we're looking at here is a deliberate structural shift from individual identity straight into collective action. For the first 3 verses, the listener is completely focused on singular characters doing their own isolated things. Baby roars, Mama dances, Papa stomps. But, every good song needs an emotional peak, right? So verse 4 delivers the satisfying narrative climax by uniting all those separate actions into one big family party where everyone dances and sings together. It subtly teaches a lesson on family unity while simultaneously ramping up the energy of the rhyme. Let's dive into section 3, inspiring physical engagement, kinesthetic calls to action. Now, we have to ask ourselves, how does this rhyme transition a viewer from just sitting there passively listening to full-on kinesthetic participation? Why use such specific, escalating physical commands? Well, in early childhood education, and by extension, highly successful kids' entertainment, learning and engagement are incredibly physical. If a kid is just staring blankly, they're probably going to scroll away, but if you can get their whole body involved, their attention is completely locked in. Notice how the script builds to this explosive 3-step kinetic sequence designed to get the child completely physically engaged before the experience wraps up. The ending actually drops the character introductions entirely and just focuses purely on kinetic escalation. Step 1, roar and dance, which combines the earlier actions. Step 2, clap your hands, getting the arms moving. And step 3, jump around, requiring total, full-body commitment from the child. The script is basically winding the viewer up like a little toy, maxing out their physical output right at the grand finale. Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, the YouTube Kids Playbook Visual Packaging. This is where we look at the author's explicit stage directions. The source text doesn't just leave the visual interpretation up to chance. It actually dictates exactly how this should look. Colorful dinosaur characters, simple dance moves, and bright backgrounds for a YouTube Kids video. The text demands this specific visual packaging to perfectly complement the repetitive lyrics. Bright backgrounds grab the eye. Simple dance moves ensure those physical commands we just talked about are super easy to mimic. And colorful characters keep the visual processing highly stimulating, but totally unchallenging. The whole shebang is practically custom built to be optimized for the algorithm. And the whole thing wraps up on this incredibly precise note. See you next time. Bye-bye. Now that is not just a polite farewell. That final line is a built-in retention tool. By explicitly saying see you next time, the script subtly plants a psychological seed for the viewer to come back. It creates this expectation of a future interaction, encouraging the child, or let's be real, the parent who just handed over the tablet, to loop the entire experience all over again. It is literally the perfect closing loop to a highly engineered piece of media. We've just spent this explainer tearing down a few lines about a dancing dinosaur, and what did we find? Complex kinetic escalation, strict mathematical structures, and highly calculated retention hooks. It really forces us to wonder, if a simple repetition of do can command such deep physical and visual engagement, what other hidden behavioral mechanics are structuring the digital media that we and our kids consume every single day? It's definitely something to chew on the next time a catchy little tune gets stuck in your head. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope it sparks your curiosity to look just a little bit closer at the content all around us.